We'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for Coffee Connections. And Becky's on today because she's got this crazy, insane goal um, this coming year. So it's Christmas Day, 6:30 Eastern Time on Christmas Day, and Mark and Becky and Rob are on. You always want to come early, always want to stay late because that's where it's all happening. So I didn't think anybody was going to be on today. So I'm surprised that Rob was on. And so what I was planning on doing with Becky is going over Becky, which is before, after, consistent, um, exciting, and enlarging. And so it's an amazing system that I've never been able to teach anybody else how to do. I'm the only person on the planet that knows how to do Becky. And so, but Becky might have a crack at it. I mean, she's here on Christmas Day. She has four kids, four sons. And so, pretty interesting that she's here. So Becky's going to tear into this and learn how to do it. And that's going to be really key for her in being able to achieve her Action Vision goal. So, Becky, we'll start out with you because it's about business and sales and money. What would you like to accomplish in today's coffee connection, Becky?
I don't care anything I can learn or anything that will be beneficial to me.
So Becky was on an hour earlier on the um, Top Gun sales boot camp training. And that's a crazy insane. I mean, I'm telling you, it's a crazy insane. So that's every morning, even Christmas morning. Not for everybody, just for the few, the really committed. Um, and so that's just insane. And so Becky learned had a story. I shared a story with her probably 20 years ago where I was tracked at $155,000 an hour. I think Rob's blacking out right now.
No, not at all.
Interesting.
Uh, no, I'm not blacking out at all. I'm still here.
I'll say it again. So yeah, about 20 years ago, I was tracked at $155,000 an hour.
I'm quite interested in how you manage that.
Yeah, it's a good news, bad news, great news story. Won't go over it again because that's inefficient because I just covered it in the previous podcast. You could go ahead and let Becky go ahead and um no, and she might share that podcast with you. Um so Becky asked me, so I was when I was 27, when I was 23 years old, I've shared this story, so I don't like to share stories more than once, but sadly, a lot of times people black out, they don't even know they black out. I I realize, Rob, so on holidays, I'm a little different on podcasts. A little bit more unhinged, a little bit more introspective. And so when I was 15 years old, I realized that I had a very addictive personality. So I made a choice that I'd never touch alcohol or cigarettes or drugs or even coffee. So I'm 61 years old and I've never had a drink of coffee in my life, you know?
Me too.
And so, so my understanding is people will get drunk. People will get drunk and they'll actually drive home and they don't remember driving home. Oh, on New Year's, I was probably, I don't know, 11 or 12, and it was snowing. It was in Wisconsin, in Appleton, Wisconsin, and we're coming home from some church party. And this car starts swerving, and my mom's like, "Honey," to my dad, because she saw it sooner than he did, and she's like, "I think he's drunk." And my dad slowed down, and the guy ran right into the tree. It's just sad and fascinating to me on how much destruction alcohol does, and yet people drink. It's boggling to me. My parents, I was raised very conservative Baptist. My youngest brother, it's, same parents, same home. I don't know, he's probably about what, 8, 9, 10 years younger than I am. And he thought that my parents went ahead and taught that drinking was a sin. But that's not what I thought. That's not what I picked up. I just picked up that they thought it was stupid. Smart people don't drink, you know? And so, every addiction that there is comes down to entitlement, where we want to feel something without working for something, without making any sacrifice for something, and without taking any risk. We just want to feel it. So, anyways, a little bit on a lighter note, or maybe it won't be, I'm not sure. And so in the pre-show, I asked Rob, if I irritated him, and he said yes, and I irritated him at a 7. So, Rob, what is it that irritates um, you about me about you? Like, what is it? What irritates you about me? What? We're not. Your lips are moving, but we're not hearing your voice.
Sorry. Sometimes it feels like uh, you call yourself a mirror when it's not necessarily appropriate to call yourself a mirror. That, you know, you're saying you're mirroring things that I don't believe you are mirroring, not just for me, but for others.
Right.
So
Right.
that's a
Yeah. No, that's fair.
so that's the main part of it.
Yeah, I get it.
So, but I'm curious about this backy thing.
Well,
Uh,
let's go back. Let's go back. Okay. Would you say that you're socially autistic?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's never
Oh,
been something that's people have said about me or to me.
okay. Have you found, Rob, that I might say some things to you that nobody's ever said before?
Sometimes, yeah.
And when something hits our brain that we've never heard before, we've never considered before, what happens to our brain if we don't go ahead and, if we don't like what somebody's saying about us?
I usually try and listen to it and think about it, and then evaluate, and in that process, evaluate how much of it might be true.
Interesting. So, um, do you study women much?
I study people in
I'm sorry. Let
general.
me let me ask you another question because that's a far more important question than the one I asked. Because the one I ask, it doesn't matter. Your questions really Like it's really, holy cow, is it a great question? Like, whoa. So it's fascinating to me. It's fascinating to me when people answer questions that I didn't ask and don't answer the questions I do ask. And so, why do people do that? Poor listeners, fear, arrogance, low EQ, sphere of influence. And so, um, do you really study people, Rob?
Yeah,
Okay, good, good, good. Because that was an important question, right? Like,
sure.
yeah, like so much of a more important question than the one I asked, right?
It depends on what the goal of the question is.
Right? Ooh, this is going to get fun now. Holy cow. This is going to get really fun. There's some personalities, Rob, the poor saps, they they're not self-aware. And they think they are. They think they're very, very self-aware. The poor saps are not. And they're entitled, self-righteous, and victims because they don't know how to be thankful, humble, and take ownership. But they think they do. But but they don't. And then there's a certain personality. Gotta love those people. Like, there's certain personalities. I'm not saying it's the amiable. Um, that they think that they know all and see all. They have a God complex, and they know people's motives. They don't know they're judging other. They hate when people judge them, but they judge people all the time. It's insane. Like like depends people's motives. Well, who knows? I know your motives. Do you know your own motive? Oh yeah, I know my motives and your motives. Ooh, you sound like a god. So it's fascinating. And the amiable, what they do is they're fascinating personalities. My dad was an amiable. My wife's an amiable. I have so many amiables in my life. They're a great gift. There's tons of them. And it's fascinating because what they do is they come across as caring. And what they do is they have a lot of small talk. Tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of small talk. And what they do is they try to get other people to open up to them, but they're terrified of opening up themselves. Terrified of it. I mean, terrified. I mean, they they want they want to go ahead and have stuff on other people. Often it seems like it's leverage, so they can, I don't know, play weird games or whatever. It's fascinating. They're such fascinating personalities. Um,
So I have a quick question.
yeah, absolutely.
So when a lot of people talk about some people or others or
Right,
they're
right,
really talking about the person they're talking to.
right. That's so true, isn't it? I've noticed
It's
that too. Like it's
so is that
so.
what you're doing? Are you saying others, but you're really
Okay.
saying
I got you. I was a little confused. Like, see, this is most certain personalities. Okay, what they do is they only can have one thought at a time. They're superficial surface people, and they only have one thought, one motive, one thing, and that's all it is. It's all it is. They can't process that there's multiple people, and they're self-centered, self-absorbed, narcissistic, and they think everything revolves around them, but they want to give everybody else the impression that they're really caring. I mean, super. They're like, oh, such a nice caring person. So with me, Rob, I'm
uh,
always like accomplishing 10 things at once,
right.
you know? And so if you were to ask a question and say, Mark, do you think that applies to me? Well, that's an interesting question. And these people, what's fascinating is they're always entrapping other people. They're always trying to entrap other people to get them to get, especially the analytic and the amiable. If you got an analytic amiable, oh my goodness. Like they're super narcissistic. I mean, super narcissistic. And and they and so they're imposters in their own bodies. And so what's fascinating is I've learned from multiple people, friends and mentors and others, is that what you do is you often put things down, lay things down on the ground and see who picks it up. And it's interesting. It's so fascinating to do this. It's so cute because you lay something down and then see who picks it up. And when the person who picks it up, what will they often do? They'll get mad at you. They'll get mad at you and they're like, "Oh, you're talking about me." I'm like, "Okay." So they reveal their own position in their own heart. And they get mad at you. But I have a theory. I don't know if we're ever mad at other people. I think we're always mad at ourselves, but we take it out on other people. And the person with the biggest heart, softest heart, most caring heart, they're the ones that everybody picks on. And it doesn't matter because they're not victims. They're like, you know what? Go ahead and do that. Did that answer your question or not?
Indirectly, I think so.
Yeah, so I'm always talking about everybody and no one, specific individuals. And so if something applies to somebody, well, then, yeah, I'm talking about them. But I can't really say, do you think it applies to you, Rob? Do you think I'm talking about you? I can't do that because that really ticks those kind of people off. I'm not saying you're that kind of person. I don't know. We don't know each other. I'm just saying this is not my first rodeo, obviously.
No.
I've been down this path before.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. You've interacted with many people.
I do.
So
not that I'm old. I just, a lot of people. And so, so let's go back to the original question. Do you think you are avoiding that question?
No,
okay.
I'm guarded. I will say I'm guarded until I understand where someone's coming from and what.
You think you're going to understand where I'm coming from?
Well, I directly asked you in a sense, or indirectly asked you.
Do you go ahead and study the Bible at all?
Yeah.
Okay. You know where this is going?
I'm not sure. It's hard to know what people's motives are.
Right. And that's the person who has bad motives always is looking for motives, and they always see their motives in like other people's hearts and their own. So Jesus went ahead in the Bible, he went ahead and just decimated the religious leaders. I mean, just decimated them because they, and they would always project their heart into Jesus' heart, and he'd just roll his eyes and be like, "Okay, boys." And so, so often people who are guarded, they've been hurt, they haven't healed, and they hurt a lot of people, but they don't realize that all they do is feel their own pain.
Well, that's true. At least partially for my case, since this is a public podcast, I try to protect what information I put out to.
Right. And that's hard to do with me, right?
So that's why I respond indirectly sometimes.
Right. It's hard. It's so hard. Have you seen Jim Bontrager's,
No.
Oh my goodness. This is really cool. Since it's a holiday, we'll go ahead and go there. So I try to get my team around me to get people to go ahead and, who is Mark Boersma? Like, who is he? And so, because, so here's something, this guy is one strange dude. Like, who goes ahead and has somebody do, writes a book on Mark Boersma for Dummies, right? Right. So let's go ahead and since it's the holiday special, we'll go ahead and, all right, so let's watch this one here.
Greetings, Jim Bontrager here, author of the best-selling book, Mark Boersma for Dummies. Tremendous resource. You'll see the subtitle there. The first thing you may truly know is you really don't know what you thought you knew. And that's just sums up my experience. When I first met Mark, I, like many of you, are trying to figure this guy out. And so I just thought I'd put together a guide here to help you better understand. And I'd like to share with you some of my collective wisdom that I've found in my relationship with him and help save a bunch of time here. So you'll notice we have a number of exciting things that I learned. First of all, I like you. Are wondering, I never met anybody like this guy. But I did learn a handful of things I wanted to share with you and maybe save you some time here. Maybe answer some questions for you. The first thing you got to understand about Mark is he believes that you were given a gift called life, that you have tremendous potential to make the world a better place. It doesn't matter how that looks like. It can be in business. It could be you as an individual running a nonprofit, maybe as a pastor or a dad or a mom, husband, wife. But the other thing that Mark firmly believes is that we all have blind spots. We have things that are keeping us back from being everything we're designed to be. We have a tendency to judge others by their actions, but us by our intentions. And many times we get no more than that, intentions. It's not permanent life change. And so one of the things about Mark is the driving force is that he is your best friend if you have a sincere desire to grow. That if you have the humility and want to be accountable to have people in your lives, that collectively we could make our time on earth count, then I'm telling you right now, this guy's going to be one of your best friends. But
What does that mean to you, Rob?
That your goal is to help people get improve their lives and live their better lives.
Anything else?
That you do it in a way that can be off-putting or uncomfortable. Let's put it that way.
Right. Right. And so on that, there's books that, Mark's recommended book. Where is that? Recommended books. And so here's this. This is interesting here. So there's this book out here. Great book. You Are the Placebo. So it says usually when people step into the river of change, the void between the old self and the new self is so uncomfortable that they immediately slip back into their old selves again. They unconsciously think this doesn't feel right. I'm uncomfortable or I don't feel so good. The moment they accept that thought or auto-suggestion becomes suggestible to their own thoughts, they will unconsciously make the same old choices again that will lead to the progression of the same habitual behaviors to create the same experiences that automatically endorse the same emotions and feelings. And then they say to themselves, this feels right. But what they really mean is this feels familiar.
That makes a lot of sense.
And so can you guys see this or can you guys hear this if I go ahead and
he is your best friend if you have a sincere desire to grow. That if you have the humility and want to be accountable to have people in your lives, that collectively we could make our time on earth count, then I'm telling you right now, this guy's going to be one of your best friends. But
okay, so that's people when they watch this video, they kind of black out. They don't really pay attention. They think, oh, I understand. So people think they're smart and they can figure people out when they haven't even figured out themselves. And so they think, well, I'm going to figure Mark out. And it's like, man, probably not. And then this they don't listen to. This is important.
You need to be warned also.
So you need to be warned also. And people don't listen to that.
And that's the fact that if you don't want that, if you just want to go through the motions and just try to keep walking down the road there blind to the things that are tripping you up and keeping you from being everything you need to be, then this guy's gonna expose it pretty quick,
Why are you laughing?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of go where you think the squishy spots are and you push. Just like a person will do. Where's the knot in the muscle? You push on it and eventually it releases. So you go where you think there's a knot, you push a knot in our lives and you push and see what it takes to release it.
So you might want to move on. If that's you and you don't have a sincere desire to grow, then this is going to be the worst thing you ever made up your mind. So I just wanted to.
Like people don't, they're not listening to what he's saying.
Okay.
So they're not listening. They're not paying attention to what he's saying. And so, Becky, this video I think, could be very key in helping you accomplish, your massive income goal over the next 12 months. Questions, Becky?
How?
So you can put on your list of things to do to call Jim Bontrager and tell him you saw the video and you were just really intrigued by it, curious about it, and wondered if he might have a few minutes to talk. And so it would be really cool for you to do a chapter, for this book. And Rob is a pretty interesting guy.
So he's not going to be like a Rick, the one that Nora was on.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. And so
Try to give you a couple things that I learned in my short relationship with Mark. I hope they be encouragement to you.
and so people are like, yeah, 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 yeah. And they're like, they don't understand. So what they need is they need multiple testimonies. So they need, so there needs to be chapter one. So Jim gives the overview of the book, Mark Boersma for Dummies. Somebody else needs to go ahead and get on and do a video and say, here's chapter one. This is what you probably missed about Jim. Like, you've never met anybody like Mark. I mean, Jim's I think now the most recent past president of the largest police chaplaincy in the world. Like this guy, this dude, man, he's amazing. I mean, he is absolutely amazing. Speaks all around the country to law enforcement officers. And so, yeah, amazing. Rob, anything else you would like to accomplish today?
I was curious, as I was thinking about whether to try and get up tonight or this morning or not for this. It's like Mark works 4 hours a day. So on holiday weeks, why doesn't he work 5 hours a day for 4 days instead of 4 hours for 5 days? So I'm curious why you do the podcast even on holidays.
Well, holidays are the best, without question. That's where you go ahead and learn the most, have the most, see the most, you understand the most. Like Tom Kuntz and I have done multiple podcasts on Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's. That's when the best of the best comes out. It's like there's a high statistical probability this podcast, if you take it to heart, will change your heart, mind, life, soul, your future forever, more so than any other podcast we've ever done.
Hmm.
So it just, that's just how it works. I don't know why it works that way, but there
Okay.
seems to be something magical that is in the air that holidays, holidays are just, it's crazy what's happened. The best podcasts in the world have happened on holidays for me.
Cool.
Anything else you want to accomplish today, Rob?
No, thank you.
You're welcome. Becky, anything you want to accomplish?
Well, I'm gonna look into this Backy thing, so I
Yeah.
want to accomplish that.
Can you explain to Rob just real quick, like when a woman goes ahead and says to other woman, um, I really like your bow in your hair. What do women know that men don't know? And Becky's just one of the boys, so she might not know. I don't know. But
I
I'm
mean,
one of the
I
girls.
would just think that she's trying to be nice because she wants something, or
Right. She wants you to praise her on her new dress. So that's just how women are. It's the most fascinating thing is a husband of a wife of 41 years and then 4 daughters and now 6 granddaughters. I got a lot of women in my life. And so I study them. I'm very interested in women. Oh my goodness. I mean, for multiple reasons. And so they help me to see things in the world I've never seen before. And so, Rob, um, he probably doesn't, he studies people, not women. And so if he starts studying women, then he's going to learn a lot more because women are very, very different than men.
I got a
Absolutely.
question.
And so one of the things that Rob could learn is, to return the favor. Like I ask him, what is it that irritates, what irritates me, about me irritates you, Rob. And so Rob could take a play. If he studied women, he could take a play out of the women's book and he could go and say, so Mark, I'm just curious. Because then I would get the illusion, the feeling, the thoughts that it's like, Rob actually cares about me. He actually is concerned about me. So not that he is, but he wants to at least trick me into thinking it. He wants to fool me and say, so Mark, what is it that, you ask me what irritates, what irritates. But he's going to, and I'm going to think that guy actually cares about me. And then I'm going to think like, this guy's actually courageous. This guy actually, like, he actually is not afraid. He's actually got confidence. He's actually got, like, if he asks me that, then I'm going to be like, wow, I'm really impressed with Rob. So you can learn a lot from women by doing that. Like when, so just a tip, and that will help him accomplish one of his other goals in life.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. And I usually do ask those questions. I just didn't today. I apologize.
One of
for
the things
not
that's
caring.
just fascinating to me, it took me, I don't know, 39 years to realize this about my wife. Do you know why women talk about milk prices and gas prices and how much they save here and how much they save there and how come they use 100 words when they could only use 2 or 3 words? Do you have any idea why women do all of this, Rob?
They're expressing concerns about security.
Okay, interesting. What took me 39 years to go ahead and realize is if they use 100 words, they feel they're 10 times more connected with you than using 10 words. And it just irritates the living daylights out of me when people explain themselves. It's just like, it just reveals insecurity. I'm just like, why do they do that? So what I've learned though with women, and now I apply it to men too, that explain themselves, is I go ahead and when somebody's explaining themselves, I'm like, that's just weird. And it just why are you revealing your insecurities to me? Why don't you just be honest and say, hey, I'm a very insecure person? Okay. Rather than play games. Like it's like it just reveal what your true motives are. And then so what I do now, Rob, is when people explain themselves to me, my wife included, and she absolutely loves and adores it, obviously being married to me for 41 years. When she uses 100 words, when she could use 10, or when she explains herself to me, I pause and I check myself and I say, oh, honey, I won't say that to you. But I'll say, oh, Rob, thanks for explaining that to me because I feel a lot closer to you now. Oh, she loves that. She just absolutely just gives her all kinds, and you will too. When you explain yourself to me on why you're something different than you're coming across, I'm just going to say, wow, Rob, thanks for explaining yourself to me. I feel a lot closer to you now. Why are you laughing?
No, I find what you say amusing in the sense that it reveals stuff about you and about people in general.
Interesting, but not about Rob. Doesn't
Well,
reveal.
I am people in general too.
Ah, you're a general person. Copy
Yes.
that. So, so if
But
Rob,
Becky had a question. Becky had a question a minute ago that she didn't get
wait a
the
minute, wait
chance
a
to
minute.
ask.
Becky, can you answer
It's
the
it's
question?
it's
Can you,
okay.
Becky,
I kind of lost
what
track of.
irritates, like Mark, what irritates you about Rob?
Mark, what irritates you about Rob?
Oh, I was asking Becky to ask that, but
Oh,
a lot of things, most everything.
good.
Like it's like he's like a woman. It's like it's just insane. I mean, it's just weird. It's like he flips
Woman in a
things.
man's body.
Yeah, like yeah, it's just weird. It's like it's just weird to me. It's just
I think
strange.
it's good for your relationship though,
How so?
because you're both irritated at each other, and it keeps you on your toes.
It doesn't really. I get bored. I get bored. I'm just like, you know what? I get to have this at home with my wife and my four daughters and my six granddaughters. And actually, a couple of my sons in laws are just like this too. It's like everybody around me. I mean, not you and Nora, you guys, and Amy, you guys are one of the boys. So you guys are very different than most women. Very different. It's superficial, artificial, distractions, all this kind of stuff. It just irritates me. It's like, you know, I mean, they don't value their time. They don't value the mental energy. They don't value their time. They don't value mine. They don't value their mental energy. They don't value mine. They just want to look good. They just want to look good and feel good. They don't want to be good. They don't want to learn. They don't want anything of substance. All they want is superficial, artificial things. And it's just like, I just want to check out and say, hey, if you guys want to just talk about the weather, talk about superficial, artificial, temporal things that seem to me to just be meaningless, like they're going to get all burned up. There's not any eternal value to it. I guess, yeah, I'm out of here and you guys can talk as long as you want. And so I don't know how to get that through to people, Rob. Like I try to be nice. I try to be nice and tell people that. I try to like hint, but it's like people don't get hints. Do you have any suggestions for me, Rob, on how to get that through to people?
People don't get hints, so you just have to tell them. And sometimes it's helpful to use tact. Sometimes it's better to be direct, blunt.
Yeah, I have found that tact doesn't work. People just don't get it. They just don't. The poor saps. I mean, they just don't get it. You just gotta, and if you do it in a public podcast, it's a little messy, especially if it's a man. Women are a little bit better at it, but men struggle with it. And if there's a man with women on, then it's really dicey because then he feels emasculated. So, anyways, anybody else have anything else? Yeah, if you thought this was good, my gracious, you're gonna miss out on the after today. Like when, yeah. So this is gonna be good. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Very
So this is too good. Like this is way too good. This is way too good. Like I'm like, it's Christmas. I'm going to give you guys all a gift. And the after this is what happens when you stick around after. So because that's where the real good stuff is. That's where the real good stuff is. So go ahead, Rob, share what you did on the after.
we were talking about being direct and all of that sort of stuff. So I asked him, based on his comments about some people, or about
That's
that
weird because he didn't use all those words.
No.
No, he just, I mean, he didn't use all those words. He's very different. His public and private are very different. Some mental health professionals call that bipolar. Like it's you're different. And so, anyways, no, just go ahead and just say what you
Okay.
said. Yeah.
I asked him based on his early comments during the early part of the podcast if he was getting bored of me and wanted me to stop coming.
Okay. That was close-ish. And so, oh, you said something about reading between the lines.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So when you go into the superficial, the surface, the temporal stuff, the stuff that doesn't have meaning, yes, I do get bored. And it takes up valuable bandwidth that, there's so many things that I've got going on that I just, so, I would go ahead and recommend that for Coffee Connection, the virtual stuff, like I can check, afterwards I can check out and I can just say, hey, you guys need anything else? And I jump off, and then people can talk about anything they want to talk about, superficial surface stuff. It doesn't need to be recorded because there's nothing significant there. Um, you know, but it's okay. People like that because it creates dopamine hit in their brain feelings wise. So, do you know how a pearl is formed?
Yeah,
So,
it's a grain of sand or other irritant gets on the clam and it starts putting a protective layer around it to make it smooth.
right. So you're the sand in my life. You're the irritant. So
Joy.
so why would I I mean why would I want you not on? Like it makes no sense unless of course I was like most people and I was doing this where it's all about me. So most international speakers and authors, most podcast hosts, it's all about their ego. It's all about them. They want to look good. Yeah, don't need that. Don't need that. And I don't have time for that kind of stuff. And so when you read between the lines, what you're doing is actually reading your lines. If you were in my position, this is what you would do to people. And so I'm not you. So if you learn that and say, I cannot figure Mark out, like Jim Bontrager, that dude's smart. Like he couldn't figure me out. And so as soon as you stop trying to figure me out, that's when you're going to grow. That's when you'll bring the most benefit to the podcast. But if you like, men are very jealous of me, especially with women, because they think that women want to be praised and told how cute they are, smart they are, how amazing they are, how this and this. They love small talk. And so often women do. Many women do. They love small talk, and that's fine. I don't have any problem with that. I just don't really, women like that typically don't last very long, don't do well around me. Men either, because I'm just not into that kind of stuff. There's not a judgment. There's nothing wrong. They can have their own podcast where they can talk about those or go on a Facebook, hey, or TikTok. I just do that. So yeah, no, you're the irritant in my life. You're the sand. So hopefully there's a pearl that comes out of it.
Okay, well, let's see where it goes, how it builds.
Anything else that you have? Okay. Man, am I glad we stuck around.